Travel conditions are getting dicey out there in the extreme northeast corner of North Dakota. The latest DOT map shows scattered wet and slushy roads around Grafton to the Canadian border along I-29. And roads to the west of there to Langdon have scattered ice. Complicating the first snow of the year, as it has all day, is the wind. Extremely strong wind. No matter where you live, it's been blowing and gusting. As the evening goes on, any moisture on the road could turn to ice, which will complicate matters, especially during the morning commute to work or to school. What's happening right now? Valley News Team's Ryan Laughlin has been out. He joins us live. Ryan, what's it like in and around Grand Forks?
Yeah, Christine, I'm here in Grand Forks. I'm at the Simonson Travel Center. Highway 2 is behind me, and we wanted to show you what the travel conditions looked like. The wind's the big story, but now with dropping temperatures, you can see there's this layer of ice and snow that's getting stuck that's making travel dicey and slowing things down out here. Like I said, the wind is the big story. And even though travel conditions are getting worse for the everyday driver, it's not all bad news for everyone.
Well, make sure you're not in a high-profile vehicle. That's the biggest thing. If you're in a high-profile vehicle, get off the roads. You know, the wind's gusting 64 miles an hour now, and it's just too dangerous to be out there if you're in a high-profile vehicle.
Tow truck drivers say that the big rigs are still moving pretty good out here. There's a lot of them parked here for the night at Simonson's Travel Center. But there is another problem going on for drivers. We'll have that story coming up at 10 o'clock tonight. For now, I'm Ryan Laughlin from Grand Forks, Valley News Live.
All right. Thank you, Ryan, for that live report, and stay warm. Now, the Southern Valley wasn't expected to get as much moisture, and that's been the case. Road conditions, according to the DOT, are described as being normal or seasonal, which should make tomorrow's drive safe, only if you take it easy. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's go right to Robert Hahn and find out the latest, because this system will continue on throughout the night. Robert.
Yeah, a live look outside on the Coronado.com Valley Skycam, part of the Storm Team Skycam network. Got some horizontal snow falling out there here in the Fargo-Moorhead area. For the most part, roadways wet here in the Fargo-Moorhead area, but as we continue to see temperatures drop, we're below freezing now. Some of these bridges and overpasses may start to slicken on up, and even some of those secondary roads, we may start to see some slick spots as well as the temperatures drop down into the upper 20s later on tonight. Snow not accumulating much, but a little bit in some of the grassy areas. But the bigger story will be the cold, the wind, and maybe some slick conditions as we head through the overnight hours. It is 31 right now, but you factor in winds of 40 miles per hour. That's giving us a wind chill of 14 degrees. Temperatures elsewhere, a mix of some 20s and 30s. Everybody at or below freezing. So if you've got some wet roadways in your area, and some places, especially up in northern portions of Minnesota, Roseau County, we've got several reports of 3, 4, 5, and even 6 inches of snow. Some slick conditions up in this part of the state. We're going to see some slick conditions continue over parts of the region, especially as we head towards tomorrow morning as those temperatures continue to drop. Winds will continue to howl as we head through at least the next 4 or 5 hours. Still seeing gusts over 50 miles per hour here in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Elsewhere, well over 30 and 40 mile per hour gusts. And speaking of those winds and cold temperatures, wind chills as cold as 11 in Langdon, 15 in Grand Forks, 16 down in Sisseton, also 16 in the Fergus Falls area. The peak winds that we've seen today, Grand Forks, 64 mile per hour winds, 59, not too far behind, here into the Fargo-Moorhead area. Not shown on this map. Cooperstown, 59 miles per hour. Devil's Lake, 51 miles per hour. Jamestown, 59 mile per hour winds. A lot of cloudiness out there, but we're starting to see some clear skies out in the western portion of the state, and we'll see clearing eventually as we head through tomorrow morning. But right now, it's not very clear out there. We've got that snow. It continues to pinwheel its way around the backside of that low that's making its way through the Duluth area right now. We got some bands of some snow, and as mentioned, some slick conditions up in Roseau County, Warroad County, or Lake of the Woods County. Still some tough going into this area. Off towards the west and eastern North Dakota, Cooperstown seeing some flakes flying, as is Mayville. Page down towards Tower City in the Valley City area, West Fargo, Fargo, Moorhead. And we'll continue to see these bands of snow eventually subsiding from west to east later on tonight. That snow stretches all the way out to Thunder Bay, southern Canada. They're getting the bulk of the snow out there. Off towards the west, snow continues over parts of Colorado, and in the northeast, a lot of rain, and they're going to get a lot more rain as we head through the next several days. For us, we're going to continue to see some snow out there, and as mentioned, some slick conditions out there. Take it easy if traveling late tonight and early tomorrow morning. Snow slowly winds down from west to east as we head into the morning hours. And over at lows in the 20s, again, you'll see some slick spots where you've got the wet roadways and the slush out there right now. But some relief later on tomorrow. Sunshine, some slightly lighter winds, but still breezy, and those winds slowly subside. By tomorrow evening, those winds become light. How much more snow are we talking about? Well, maybe a few more inches over in parts of Minnesota. Winter storm warning continues. Northern portion of the valley, winter weather advisory for central areas, and high wind warning continues until 3 a.m. Here in Fargo, we'll start off the day in the upper 20s with a few clouds around and not much of a warm up by lunchtime into the lower 30s, and we'll top it out in the upper 30s. Picture of the day, it's a gorgeous one. October fire over 10 Mile Lake in Dalton. Thanks so much to John for sending that in. Going to use that as the backdrop to our 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, improving conditions, but windy. Even better on Saturday. Better still for a while on Sunday. Chance for some late day rain showers, changing over to snow showers Monday. A few more snow showers possible on Halloween and Wednesday.
Yeah, and it was brutal for those who were fighting that fire out in Arthur, North Dakota. It was absolutely brutal. They will likely be out there all night long. It was a historic barn known for school dances, roller skating, country music, and weddings. It caught fire and it could not be saved. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Nicole Johnson shows us a tragic loss for the community.
A place full of dance moves, good melodies, and pure joy suddenly is everything but.
Just a shame, really.
The Arthur Barn has been a staple for kids, teens, and adults alike since the 50s.
It's a busy place.
It's history, and it's gone.
I don't think there is anything else that I'm aware of.
People came to meet their boyfriends and girlfriends who would turn into their husbands and wives.
They did. That happened a lot. But we started coming here when we were probably in 8th grade. There was a dance every Saturday night.
Laughter from remembrance, sadness soon to follow.
We've got a lot of memories of this yard, you know, all through high school. Everything is held here for the small country schools.
A parking lot that's usually packed, bumper to bumper, with those looking to have a good time, now has a different tune. Emergency crews rushed to save the barn for old time's sake, a battle they couldn't win. The future of this legacy venue is unknown, and what caused it to go up into flames is too. In Arthur, Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
Thankfully, no one got hurt in the fire. However, it did spread to a couple surrounding buildings. The family who owns the property is taking a major hit. If you choose to donate, there is a GoFundMe page set up to help. And North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum also tweeted about the loss of the Arthur Barn. Burgum is a native of Arthur and said, quote, 70 years of dancing and music will live on in all who experienced magic in this special place. New for you now at 9, North Dakota Highway Patrol officials need your help figuring out who hit a Jamestown woman with their car and didn't stop. Troopers report that 58-year-old Mariette Ost was walking along I-94 around 6 this morning when she tried to cross the eastbound roadway east of Steele. Ost was struck by a car headed westbound, which didn't stop. Ost was taken then to the hospital, but she is expected to be okay. This incident, however, remains under investigation by the North Dakota Highway Patrol. If you have any information on the crash or the identity of the striking vehicle, call the North Dakota Highway Patrol. Their number is 701-328-2467. And the Fargo Police Department needs your help finding a missing man. 21-year-old Gabriel McCloskey was last seen in Fargo on February 28th of this year. McCloskey was reported missing in August by his family after they had been unable to contact him, which police say is unusual. McCloskey is American Indian, 6 feet 4 inches tall, 165 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. So if you know where McCloskey is, call the Fargo Investigations Unit at 701-241-1405. After our series of stories of studs to rugs abrupt closure, the Moorhead Building Codes Division is now reaching out to homeowners with unfinished projects who were affected by the contractor. The Minnesota Contractor Recovery Fund is set up to compensate owners or lessees of Minnesota residential property who may have suffered a direct and out-of-pocket loss due to the misconduct of a Minnesota licensed residential contractor. This recovery fund is supported through fees paid by Minnesota licensed building contractors every year. Payment is not guaranteed, but the recovery fund could be a good resource for those who have suffered a substantial loss from their contractor. And some pretty wild video coming out of Minnesota Deputy Squad Car. It shows how dangerous this time of year can be when the deer are on the move. The dash and body cam videos show a deputy racing to a call near Cambridge, Minnesota early on Saturday morning. But take a look at this. When a deer jumped right in front of his squad car, he was going about 100 miles an hour with his lights and sirens on. His hood flew up. He hit the brakes, but kept the car on the road. Take a look at what it looked like after the crash. The airbags deployed, and the deputy walked away with some minor bruises. The sheriff's department is reminding drivers you should never swerve to avoid a deer. They say hitting it head on is much safer than veering into traffic or into a ditch to avoid it because your vehicle might roll. Police are looking for several individuals in Minnesota who have stolen thousands of dollars using an ATM skimming device. Now, this device can be purchased online, and since it's so accessible, it's an easy way for criminals to steal your bank account information. You are urged to always check your surroundings while at an ATM and to be alert for anything out of the ordinary.
Give the card slot a tug and see if it detaches or if there's some order, if it's bulky. Obviously, if you've used it before and something doesn't look right, you can always contact the bank or whoever owns that.
It's also suggested to use your hand as a shield when putting your PIN number. Looking for ATMs with a camera pointed towards them can also intimidate criminals. The president declares the opioid crisis a national public health emergency. But critics ask, where's the money? That's still ahead tonight.